Rebecca was lost in the middle of the dense forest, her heart pounding with fear and uncertainty. She had been hiking alone, enjoying the solitude of nature, when she had lost her way. Her clothes were damp from the rain that had caught her off guard, and she was shivering from the cold. Just as she was starting to lose hope, Rebecca stumbled upon a small cabin nestled among the trees. She rushed towards it, seeking shelter from the elements. The door creaked as she pushed it open, revealing a cozy interior with a crackling fireplace casting a warm glow. Rebecca stepped inside, grateful for the shelter. She quickly stripped off her wet clothes, wrapping herself in a blanket she found near the fireplace. She shivered, both from the cold and the anticipation of being in such an intimate setting all alone. Little did Rebecca know that she was not alone. Mark, a 28-year-old doctor, was the owner of the cabin, and he had been staying there for a weekend getaway. He had been captivated by the natural beauty of the forest and had sought solace in the peacefulness of the cabin. Mark returned to the cabin just as Rebecca was settling down by the fireplace, her wet clothes strewn on the floor. He was taken aback by her beauty, her young and vibrant form wrapped in the blanket. His heart skipped a beat as he watched her, a sudden surge of desire stirring within him. Rebecca was startled by Mark's presence, but she was also captivated by his rugged handsomeness. His piercing blue eyes seemed to see right through her, and she felt a flutter in her chest as he approached her with a gentle smile. Mark offered Rebecca a towel to dry off, and she accepted it gratefully. Their fingers brushed as she took it from him, sending a jolt of electricity through her body. Mark's touch was warm and comforting, and Rebecca found herself drawn to him in a way she had never experienced before. As they sat by the fire, sipping hot cocoa, they shared stories and laughter. Rebecca felt a deep connection with Mark, as if they had known each other for ages. Mark was equally captivated by Rebecca's innocence and beauty, finding himself entranced by her every word and movement. As the night grew darker and the fire burned low, Mark offered Rebecca a spare room to spend the night. She accepted, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. She couldn't deny the strong attraction she felt towards Mark, and she found herself yearning for his touch. In the quiet of the night, Rebecca couldn't sleep. Her mind was filled with thoughts of Mark, and her body ached with a growing desire. She couldn't resist the pull any longer and found herself making her way to Mark's room. Mark was awake, unable to shake off the thoughts of Rebecca that had been haunting him. He was surprised and thrilled when he saw her standing at his door, her eyes filled with a hunger that mirrored his own. Without a word, Rebecca stepped into Mark's room, and he closed the door behind her. The air crackled with anticipation as they stood facing each other, their bodies mere inches apart. The tension between them was palpable, a magnetic pull that was too strong to resist. Mark's hand cupped Rebecca's cheek, and she leaned into his touch, her eyes fluttering closed. He lowered his lips to hers, and the kiss was electric, filled with fiery passion and longing. Rebecca's hands found their way to Mark's broad shoulders, and she pulled him closer, deepening the kiss, her body melting against his. Mark's hands trailed down Rebecca's back, sending shivers down her spine. He gently peeled off the blanket that was wrapped around her, revealing her supple curves. Rebecca's breath hitched as Mark's lips trailed down her neck, leaving a trail of hot kisses along her skin. Mark's hands explored Rebecca's body, his touch sending waves of pleasure coursing through her. She moaned softly, arching into his touch, craving more of him. Mark's fingers teased her, tracing delicate patterns on her skin, igniting a fiery desire within her. Rebecca's hands roamed over Mark's chest, feeling his sculpted muscles beneath her fingertips. She longed to feel him against her, to taste him, to lose herself in the passion that was building between them. Mark's lips moved lower, blazing a trail of fiery kisses down Rebecca's body, stopping at her breasts. He took one of her hardened nipples into his mouth, suckling and teasing it with his tongue, while his hand fondled her other breast. Rebecca gasped, her body arching towards him, her hands gripping his hair. Her desire was palpable, her body aching for more. Mark's hands moved lower, caressing Rebecca's thighs, inching towards her core. He could feel her warmth, her need, and it fueled his own desire. He slowly slipped his fingers between her folds, finding her wet and ready for him. Rebecca moaned, her hips moving in rhythm with his touch, craving more of him. Unable to hold back any longer, Mark lifted Rebecca onto the bed, their lips finding each other in a searing kiss. He positioned himself between her legs, and with a slow, steady thrust, he entered her, filling her completely. Rebecca gasped, her nails digging into Mark's back as he moved within her, setting off fireworks of pleasure throughout her body. Their bodies moved in perfect harmony, the rhythm of their lovemaking building to a crescendo. They explored each other with wild abandon, their passion reaching new heights. Their moans and cries filled the cabin, echoing through the forest, as they lost themselves in each other. As the night turned into dawn, their bodies finally stilled, sated and spent. Rebecca lay in Mark's arms, her head resting on his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. They were entwined in each other's embrace, their bodies still tingling from the intensity of their lovemaking. As they lay there, Mark leaned down to kiss Rebecca's forehead, and she looked up at him with a soft smile. In that moment, they both knew that what they had shared was something truly special, a connection that went beyond the physical. It was a love that had been ignited in the midst of the forest, a love that would forever stay etched in their hearts. From that day on, Rebecca and Mark's love blossomed, and they continued to explore their desires and passions together. The cabin in the forest became their sanctuary, where they would create countless memories of their sensual love, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the warmth of their hearts entwined. And so, their love story continued, a tale of sensuality, intimacy, and fiery passion, a tale that would be whispered among the trees of the forest, a tale of two souls finding solace in love.